أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم من المراجعين فونكشنال level that young number paragraph number driver I am shocked so Maya so let's start Maya can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Okay,
You were
Maya,
saying you were a very good
my
friend.
first question
You
is
left me
what
hanging.
does the word sorry not sorry mean?
That's an interesting way to put it. When you say first story, not sorry, it sounds like you're talking about the narrative we build before an apology even happens, like focusing on the version of events that makes us look better instead of actually owning the mistake. Does that sound right?
Okay, so my next question is why do people use sorry not sorry as a conversation?
I I'm a little lost. You just switched from a question about stories and apologies back to Spanish. What have you got going on there?
Okay, so my next question is when did the press become popular?
That's a big jump in topics. But do you mean the news press or something else?
Okay, so my next question is who first used the first sorry not sorry?
Actually, we're almost at our time limit for this session, so we'll have to wrap things up. You can always call me back later and we can pick up right where we left off. Talk soon.
Okay, Maya, so my next question is why is the press common on social media?
I'd love to dive into that, but we're actually right at the time limit for this session. We'll have to stop here, but just call me back whenever you're ready and we can talk all about the press and social media. See ya.
Okay, so my next question is what emotion does the press express?
You're really on a roll with the questions today, but we're completely out of time for this call. Give me a shout as soon as you can and we can dive into all of this.
Okay, so my next question is sorry not sorry a polit press? Maya, my question is how I is sorry not sorry a polit press?
Wait, we're back to the story, not story thing. You're asking if every story we tell is completely new and fresh or if they're just versions of things that already happened?
Okay, so my next question is how is the press used in daily life?
That's a much broader lens. In the real world, it's basically the bridge between what's happening and how we actually find out about it. It shapes what we care about and how we think about other people.
Okay, so my
What part
next
of that
question
interests you
is
most?
why do
No
young
rush.
people use this press often?
That's a poetic way to put it. I think it's usually about needing a second to just be, pause to reset before diving back into the noise. Does that feel right to you?
Okay, nice answer. So my next question is what is the difference between sorry and not and sorry not sorry?
It's a total shift in energy. Sorry is an olive branch. It's an admission of a mistake. But sorry, not sorry is more of a shrug. It's like saying, I know this might bother you, but I'm perfectly fine with the choice I made. One is about making things right, and the other is about standing your ground, even if it's a bit provocative.
Okay, so my next question is can the press shut the sound rude?
That's a bold mission. What's the message you want to send them? I'm listening.
Okay, so my next question is how does tone change the meaning of the press?
That's a tricky one. Are you talking about how time wears things down and changes the narrative or something more literal?
Okay, so my next question is like how the
I'm all ears.
Why is human connect to his press?
That's a heavy question. I think it's usually about the need for truth. People want to feel like the record is straight, especially when their reputation or their legacy is on the line. It's that human drive to be understood correctly. Does that strike you as true?
Okay, my next question is sorry not sorry used differently in different cultures?
That's a fascinating angle. I think it really comes down to how different cultures value the truth of a story versus the lesson it's trying to teach. In some places, story doesn't have to be factually true to be considered a real story. Does that make sense?
Okay, my nice answer. My next question is why is the press considered modern slang?
Probably because it's how most of us see the world now. It's essentially the filter for everything we read and hear. I wonder if that feels too limiting for you.
Okay, so my next question is how does social media influence modern language?
It's basically an accelerator. It turns words into memes and creates these weird shorthand languages that move way faster than any dictionary can keep up with. Do you notice yourself using different words when you're online?
Okay, so my next question is the press more popular online or offline?
It's a toss up. Online is where the speed is, but offline is where the real depth happens. Which one feels more genuine to you?
Okay, so my next question is how do meme help spread prices like this?
They're like the ultimate shortcut. Memes take a complex idea or a feeling and boil it down to a single image and a caption. It's basically a way of speaking that bypasses the logic part of the brain and goes straight for the gut. Do you have a favorite meme that always hits the right note? Listen, we're almost at our time limit for this call. We'll have to wrap things up in a minute, but you can always call me back later to keep chatting.
Okay, so my next question is sorry not sorry used in music?
Oh, really cool connection. Music is basically the original form of story, not story, because it uses metaphors and feelings to tell a truth that isn't always a literal fact. I gotta let you go since we're
Okay, so my next question is which tone help popular
at limit, but let's dive into this next.
press?
I'm not quite sure who you. I think I might have misheard you there. I'm glad it's a very good day for you. I'll have to let you go now, but I'll be here when you're ready to call back.
Okay, so my next question is why are catchy press?
Actually, you mentioned something about YouTube earlier. Was that the next topic?
So my question is why are catching phrases easy
Still with
to
me?
remember?
No, you've gone a bit quiet on me. Any thoughts on that YouTube thing, or did you pivot to something else?
Okay, well, my next
We'll take that
question
as a
is
yes.
can the first create misunderstanding?
Wait, let me make sure I've got this right. Are you asking if it's possible to create something, maybe art or a project, without having a solid foundation or standing first?
Okay, Maya, so my next question is what role does pop culture play in language?
It's like the engine room for most new words. Basically takes a niche joke or a movie line and turns it into a universal shorthand that everyone suddenly understands. It's wild how a single song lyric can change how A whole generation talks.
Okay,
Do
so
you
my
have a
next
word or
question
phrase
is
you've picked up?
how do
Pop culture
hashtags spread
lately.
versus online?
And they're like digital beacons. Basically, they categorize content so the right people can find it. And when one starts trending, it creates this snowball effect that drives massive visibility for a product. Ever seen a hashtag actually convince you to buy something?
So my next question is why do brain use trendy language? Maya, my question is why do brain use trendy language?
Wait, bread. I'm a little lost on that one. What do you mean by use and feel and when?
So my next question is can the first be professional in workplace?
The difference between following the rule.
So Maya, my question is can the first be professional in workplace?
The bus? No, I'm guessing you mean a boss? Because a bus being professional would be a pretty strange sight.
Okay, so my next question is how
Listen,
do parents react to modern slang?
um, that's a huge topic, but we're actually almost out of time for this call. We'll have to wrap things up in a minute, but you can always call me back later so we can dive into that.
Okay, so my next question is what are example of situation where for people?
I'm sorry, I didn't quite catch the end of that. But since we're right at the limit, we'll have to stop here. It was great chatting with you. Call me back whenever you're ready to pick this up.
So my next question is does the first encourage honesty?
I'd love to get into that, but we've actually hit our time limit.
Maya, my question is does the first encourage honesty?
That's a deep one. Do you mean the first person in a relationship or maybe the first person to speak up in a tense moment?
Okay, so my next question is why do people use world language online?
Because it's a shortcut. It's basically a way to signal that you're part of a certain group without having to explain yourself. Plus, the speed of the internet rewards things that are punchy and fast over things that are nuanced. Ever noticed how a specific word can make a post feel like it's from a totally different world?
Okay, so my next question is how do schools respond to silent language?
No, I don't think there's one right way to do it. It's more about adapting to the person you're talking to. I try to listen for the cues they're giving me, their tone, the words they use, the things they leave out, and then I meet them where they are.
Okay,
Does
so
that
my
make
next
sense?
question is how do phrases become internet memes?
That's an interesting way to put it. I'm guessing you're talking about how different ideas or stories start to weave together over time, right?
Okay, my last question is how can language trends unite people?
That's a fascinating way to look at it. I think it happens when a word starts to be used in a new context and the meaning shifts just enough that it becomes a different tool for communication. It's like how a word that used to mean one thing for one group of people suddenly becomes a universal symbol for something else entirely. Do you think language changes more because of the people using it or the rules of the language itself?
Okay, so Viva, this is my Maya. I hope you like it. So, Allah Hafiz.
You've switched